Welcome to Around Town, featuring what's happening here in the greater Concord area as we're shivering and getting ready for winter, I guess. I guess fall is either gone to sleep or whatever, but I'm pleased to have Chris Pappas here from the Kiwanis. And he and I are going to sit and reminisce a little bit about the holidays in Concord and go from there. So, at least I get ready to plan something this time when you're here.
Yes, good afternoon, Dick.
I know. I mean, yeah, the spring fair is on the horizon for next year, but you got a little bit of time before that starts up. You just finished the car show, and now here we are getting ready for the holidays. Now, does the Kiwanis do bell ringing for the Salvation Army?
We'll be ringing the bells as usual
yeah.
at Walmart and also at Market Basket.
You do, yeah.
So it'll be a busy year. It never stops.
And you do also the holiday food baskets too, right? Involved with that.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
They always need help. They talk about a thing that really brings the community together.
Yeah.
That food basket program,
I know.
Maria and Steve Pancho.
Yeah.
They deserve a double pat on the back for the work that they do.
Yes. Yeah, Maria Manis and Star Manis, right? Or is it just one or the other? They're sisters.
Maria.
Yeah, I know they're sisters, but because I went to school with their brother Andrew Manis, and I often wondered where he was. And back a couple of months ago, I called Star because Maria, I guess, doesn't communicate with him too much, and she said Star would know, and he's in Delaware. But he never returned any phone calls. But I know in school, especially in high school, no, I'll take it back, Runlet. In 8th grade, I was in some classes with him, and he was very, I wasn't in his category.
No, their dad was very well involved, Mark.
Mark was yes, he was quite the Marky Manis there with his clothing store on Main Street, and
between the Chamber of Commerce, he was a Kiwanis member, a lieutenant governor.
Yeah.
For New England, he was a very active guy, and of course got the holiday food basket.
Yes,
program.
he did. Yeah. In fact, and then his wife Andrea, she was a school teacher in the music department. I didn't have her. But they said that she taught chorus or whatever else there. At Runlet, maybe a Concord
Yes.
High. Yeah. See, I didn't have. I had Mr. Black and Mr. Mark in Runlet, and then Galuso was up there somewhere, Concord High, I think. Yeah, I think it was Galuso.
Another well-known name.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a long time back then.
Many years with music, along with Paul Childs.
Yes, Paul of the Nevers Band, yeah. Yes, in fact, Debbie was in my grade. I was in her, we were in class together all through junior high and high school, but there again, she was a little bit upper in her class level than I was, but...
She's still very involved with the Nevers Band.
Yes, and she also is watching her mother, taking care of her mother a lot, Priscilla. Priscilla was at all the concerts this summer, but Priscilla has, she's aged and she's developing some Alzheimer's, and so she knows when you go to talk to her. She was always out there sitting, but she missed being in the band. But they felt it was time for her to retire, and so she sits there and will listen to the concerts, but it still seems
very
funny.
Dedicated musical family.
Oh yes, yes. Because I told Debbie I can always remember her in 8th grade history. Debbie came in one day and brought in some of the old time music instruments of the Nevers Band. And she had a uniform, and she had some of the instruments and music and stuff, and I'll never forget that because it was very interesting. Because history, I love history anyway. And But yeah, and that's when Never's band used to march in parades too. Always marched in parades. But then a few people died marching back in the early 70s, and that was the end of that.
Well, it's like the Bektash band that used to have 30, 40 members. Now it's sort of dwindled.
Yeah,
They still march, but not as many parades as they used to do.
no, but they still command a very good price tag too when they want it. And of course they don't have the bagpipes anymore. That's gone. And the Bektash band is gone. And there was something else. Because of course they're getting ready for their Festival of Trees this coming Saturday. It's on for 10 days. It opens up right after the parade on Saturday. And that's a busy day. I didn't know about your Greek pastry day, because we've got that downtown now, and up here we have the Catholic Church's Christmas fair. St. John's has a Christmas fair, or Christ the Parish, and then of course the Festival of Trees over at the Bektash Temple. All of it basically starting up after the parade ends or close to it. So,
Capital Center for the Arts also has one.
what they got going on?
A craft fair.
Really? Capital Center for the Arts?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
for goodness
downstairs.
Oh goodness, never knew that. That's kind of an odd
So-
place.
There's plenty of craft fairs, no matter what section of town you're in, you got one close by.
Yeah, and the tree went up today on the State House Plaza, and they'll be decorating that on Friday of this week or Monday of next week, depending how the weather is.
Does the state or the city help you with that? Putting the lights on.
The state does the decorating of the tree. They go down. They provide. This is a teamwork thing. They provide the flatbed trailer and the crane to haul it down from wherever it's coming. The city provides another bucket truck and I guess the big saw or whatever to saw the thing, the base, and help loads it onto the trailer. And then they go down with the state to make sure it gets in the right hole down there. And then they will take the lights off the tree and take the tree out on January 3rd or 4th, somewhere in that area. It's been a big hassle this year, as you well know. After all the vandalism last year, I wasn't aware of that. I know the tree did not light on Christmas Day last year, and it was dark until New Year's. But evidently the vandals had ruined the different wires, lights of wires. They had snipped all through the tree. And they also ruined the harness that connected the top and the bottom together. They ruined it. So we were looking at over $1,500 worth of materials to have to relight that tree, because the city was, I won't say demanding, but they were pressuring that they wanted C9 of the LED bulbs this year. We've always used the regular C9 regular bulbs, and the C9's LED ones supposedly
Must be much more expensive.
they are to buy, yes, but they figure they're cost efficient. Well, anyway, I wrote Justin Spencer, the famous Justin Spencer from Recycled Percussion. He won on the talent show there, America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
Well, he's from Concord. And back years ago, when he was in his early teens, he would be on the back on a small snowmobile trailer with the drum sets. Just him. And his car would tow the trailer. And he'd be on there playing the drums like crazy. And so for several years he was on there. And he faithfully, every year, Justin Spencer, and I would figure, what's he, Well, anyway, I sat and wrote him a letter back in July when I found all this out, and got a letter that he would be more than happy to provide the lights for the tree, tell him what we needed. So I wrote back and said that they wanted 20 sets of 100 on each string of lights for the tree. So I'm telling you, it was, it was really tough. And
He provided the lights.
he provided the lights. However, here comes the second part to this. They all arrived. They are on those spindles there, whatever. But the city tried one set. Now, I don't know the difference with them because I don't use LEDs at home. I don't like them. They had them one time on the tree down on the Heights tree down here, and you couldn't see them. They didn't show up at all. So we went back to the regular, C9s there. So anyway, the city told me they couldn't use them. And I said, wait a minute. This guy is a famous person out of Las Vegas. He has got Concord roots, and he's bought all these lights, and you say they're not good enough? Well, we need the commercial brand. I said, well, that's new to me. I've never heard of them. I was told, I said, you never said that there was a commercial grade. So anyway, I wrote back to him, and he said that he would buy them. Well, they would get them, and I said, look, you've done enough. And so they've been purchased anyway. I don't have them, the state has them, and they'll be stringing them, like I said, Friday or Monday. And I'm going to tell you, I really appreciate all that Justin did. I've got the other ones I'm going to return to his agent. She's from around here too, and so maybe they can get their money back on it, because it's a shame.
Where does the tree come from?
Well,
Who picks the tree, and where does it come from?
I do.
I thought so, but I thought I'd ask.
They've given me that honor, Chris. This will be like the 44th year, or close to it, that I have coordinated the lighting of the tree itself and the manger, the creche. See, the Grange, the history of it, the Grange took over the creche back in 1975 because the city, the Council of Churches in Concord had decided they were not going to do the manger anymore because they had put the stable out in the woods on Hazen Drive to store it out there. At that time, there was no Fish and Game building, no motor vehicle building, no Health and Human Services building, only the State Police building on this end, and then the Morton building on the other end of Loudon Road and Hazen Drive. So we found it out there one day. I never knew it was out there. They used to store it down on Stickney Ave for years, down at the state buildings down there. And I don't know who complained, but it disappeared from there. So anyway, what happened was vandals had made, they tore it to pieces. They wrote graffiti all over it. They had taken boards off. It was awful. It was a disgrace what they'd done. So the Council of Churches, in the meantime, had given it to the downtown merchants who said, Chamber of Commerce, and they said they don't want nothing to do with it no more. So I don't know how I found this out, but I found out about it and went to a meeting of it. And I talked to the county Pomona Grange. We had several carpenters, and they said they definitely would like to do it.
They rebuilt it.
Rebuild it. So we got it. They had to go behind secret doors, closed doors, and talk about it for an hour. And they came out and said that they would give us the creche. So that's how we
Was
got
this
it.
on wheels, or did it have to be moved
No,
by
no,
flatbed?
no. It had to be hauled up. They had it was the size of a half a house.
Good size,
They had
I
two
know.
hooks up. They did, and they had to hook it up and haul it up with a crane, and load it onto a flatbed. Well, my poor parents, I don't think they were ready for this. I was working nights at county or something, and all of a sudden, in the yard, was this building, was the crash. My mother and father. Well, I'm telling you, we had more traffic on Pembroke Road than you could ever imagine. And of course, the two extensions were just hooked on. They were just loose, they were, so they were there. Well, the next day, the guys came down from the Pomona Grange, Merrimack County, and they did their measurements to see what they could do, and they figured that they would close in the ends. To heck with the extensions anymore. They also went around the building and took out X amount of feet of it or whatever and lowered it down. But you still had to have a crane to pick it up and bring it to the plaza.
Sounds like it was rebuilt.
Somewhat. So we got it done in time to get it up there for the holiday season. Well, the city said they weren't going to transport it no more. That was it for them. Well, somebody who was in the Army National Guard talked to them because they had a flatbed and all that, and they said they'd be more than happy to do that. So they brought it down to the plaza and placed it there. Well, I'm telling you, the city did not like it. And I said, well, you turned me down. I had to get it down here. So anyway, it got put up, placed up there and everything. Well, not being smart enough, because back when I was a kid, you didn't have any fence around the front of it. Vandals could walk right up in there. You had the two windows in back that they could reach through, and they used to steal the angel out of there. And so within weeks, they stole the baby Jesus out of it. Never got it back. And they stole the angel. Never got that back. But anyway, so we got it through the year. So then within 2 years after that, the Knights of Columbus wanted to join up. So they co-sponsor it with us. They provided the paint, and they repainted it, did a nice job. We got a new baby Jesus, and we got a new angel. Somebody, a member of the Grange, bought the angel. And that angel was not cheap. Neither was baby Jesus. Anyway, so this time they made a fence and put a fence in front of it. Well, that didn't do any good. They still got in there. Well, anyhow, several years later, actually probably more than that, but anyway, we were approached by the Carmelite monastery, because they had a nativity scene that they didn't want to do no more outdoors. It was too much for them. And then somebody else had one that they did. Oh, you remember the one that Governor Thompson had built? When there was one year when the Council of Churches didn't put it on the plaza because of so much static from the ACLU, that they put it over on Park Street at the St. Paul's Episcopal Church.
You know, I do remember that.
Well, so they found Thompson's old manger that he built, stable, in the guards over there on Pembroke Road. Nobody knew what it was. So they took that, we did, and they took that apart. And so they made it all a new one, but they made it portable on a big, Cedric Dustin donated a double wide, double long trailer. And that's how they get it down there. So
Quite an ordeal.
the boys, the Knights of Columbus had some good carpenters along with us, and they really did a good job. And this now, they put up a wire fence across the front, so nobody can really, and they lock the side door so they can't get in there unless they bust it. And of course they close the windows.
We
so.
won't let out any secrets, but we hope we have closed circuit TV.
Well, I know it, but I'm telling you. So, but the trouble is, and of course, thanks to Norm and Lily St. Hilaire, because they redid all those figurines in there after a while because they were in tough shape. They're old. Some of them go 60, 70 years, and they're expensive. We bought pieces. We bought the three Meisman in the late 70s, I think, because one of them, the head fell off. It was a mess. But some of those pieces went like $1,000 or more, and
quite an expense.
Oh, it was very expensive. Mrs. Otto, who lived in Concord here, she and her son donated some money to help buy the pieces too, because we had to buy almost all new pieces. They were so old. And there was a few, we lost the camel. No, we've never had a camel since. But to buy a camel is so expensive now. We can't buy it. We can't afford to put it in there. We talked about doing the figurines that are in there are near life size, full life size. But if we did lower, it just wouldn't be the same. So that'll be going up on the plaza the day after Thanksgiving. The Knights will be down there in the morning, early morning, getting it set up, ready to be lit that night.
Do you have the city bandstand?
No, we did for a while, but again, I don't have a lot of help, and I don't know how to put that thing open. And Tom Casano, God love him, he would get it opened up, crank it up, and him and a few others, but then the time comes to put it down, close it up, nobody's around to help. And I got a call one night on Friday night, that the bandstand was still open. Oh, I didn't know it. And so we went down and closed it Saturday morning. And of course, the city didn't charge us for it, but it had to stay there until Monday morning.
Till Monday.
So now we don't use it at all. Kevin Tucker and his helpers, David Hatch and Christine Hatch here, and there's a few others there. They spend all day down there on Friday morning getting a stage put up on Franklin Pierce's monument area for Brian Waldman to play with his band on there and decorate it and all that. And so this year it's all for the day after Thanksgiving. It'll start at 4 o'clock, and we'll have the horse-drawn wagon rides. We're going back to 2 this year, which is an added expense. The petting zoo, which is very popular. Pony rides, and we don't charge for any of this, but we do ask for a donation. And then we're adding a magic show this year for the kids.
On the plaza.
Yep, on the plaza. And Kevin Tucker had come up with an idea that he has a Pennacook Rescue vehicle that's not in use that he's going to bring down, and also to fill it with all kinds of canned food, toys. He's hoping people will fill the ambulance up. And that'll go to the front of the kitchen, and toys will go to the Toys R Us or to a homeless shelter or something. So
all for a good cause.
All for a good cause. And I can't thank Concord Imaging and Foxfire Management. They gave very generous. Concord Imaging has been with us now for 3 years, and they've given us a very generous donation. And fireworks will be after the tree lights up. Santa comes down courtesy of the Concord Fire Department at 5 o'clock. And just hoping for decent weather and hopefully a good crowd. But like I said, it wasn't for Concord Imaging and Foxfire, Raleigh Agency, Concord Business Center. They all give platinum donations, and Concord Imaging gives a super platinum donation, and then we have other individual ones from $500 down. But we appreciate the Kiwanis who give us a donation for the tree lighting, and of course Concord Grange oversees it with everything. But you know, it's a lot of money, and
It always takes money, any type of
It
program,
does.
whether it's a
parade
parade.
or the tree lighting. Yep. And
It's
people don't
very
realize it.
costly.
They think it just happens. They think the city does it, or it just happens. It's not the case at all. So, and
The
we
city
have.
usually has their hand out.
Oh yeah, they.
Instead
Oh
of
yeah.
giving you a hand.
Oh yeah,
their hand
they
is
do.
out.
And we have to get permits. We have to pay for fire officers to stand by in the field with the fireworks. We have to We have to pay for the fire marshal to be down there. You know, it's a lot to it. And someone says, "Well, why bother?" Because the people like it. The kids love it. You
It's
know.
a good attention getter.
And when I was a kid,
It's,
it was always the day after Thanksgiving. We'd go down. My folks would take us down to see the lights on the nice poles down there, the tree lit up in the manger, and Concord was ready for the holidays. And then when I was on city council, I had two city councilors who were sitting on there still, who pointed their finger at me and said, "You're stingy. You're whatever." It was terrible what they called me right on a public meeting, because I wouldn't move it to the next week to be with Midnight Merriment. So I thought, well, hey, you know, I guess you don't live in Concord, because, you know, I've been here 60 years, and it was tradition to light the lights the day after Thanksgiving, and that's what I hold to as tradition.
Well, a lot of the Main Street companies, like the Eagle, the old Eagle Hotel building, which is well lit, the old New Hampshire Savings Bank building on the corner of Capitol Street.
Yep.
It sort of lends a lot of Christmas flair
It
to
does.
Main Street.
It does, and now we can. And a lot of the Main Street businesses are not owned by local people anymore, like it used to be. Once again, Chris, this year, this is the second year we have not gotten one donation from any law firm in the city. Now, 3 years ago, we got several law firms who helped us out with a donation. But because one called it a frivolous event, we've never haven't gotten any donations since. And that hurts, because I don't get nothing out of it. It's volunteer. I don't have a committee, basically, per se. But Binny Media, they sponsor the fireworks, and so that helped a lot.
Who was our fireworks vendor this year?
It'll be Atlas again.
They always put on a pretty good show.
They do, and it's not like a 4th of July display. You know, it's like a...
You don't expect it to be.
No, it's not supposed to be. It's just something to officially start the holiday season. So, anyway. Well, with that in mind, our half hour is gone already, Chris. I'm sorry that we got going, but that's what we're saying about Christmas in Concord, and we hope we'll see you at the tree lighting. And again, thank you all for all you do. Yeah.
Well, hopefully all the volunteers will come out at the State Armory for the
Yes,
holiday food basket
That's right.
program.
That's right.
The middle of May, our Kiwanis Spring Fair.
Yes.
September 8th, mark your calendars, is the
Yeah.
33rd annual car show.
Boy. Yeah.
So time marches on, Dick.
Yeah, it does, Chris. It does. So, with that in mind, thanks to my director, Ian Marx, and we'll see you all soon. So have a happy Thanksgiving, and see you all at the 31st annual Christmas tree lighting on the 24th of November.